guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Thursday, January 25th, after the Celtics win over the Miami Heat, which they won by a score of 143 to 110. Complete another domination by the Celtics in every facet of the word. The Heat shot okay from the field, 45%, 38%. Celtics had a few runs in there where they let the Heat score a little bit too easily. However, it didn't matter because the Celtics shot 64% from the field and 55% from three. They shot so well that they took 14 fewer shots than the Heat, and they beat them by 33 points. That is absolutely ridiculous. They made 22 of their 43s, 51 of their 80 buckets, 35 assists on the night. Nobody on the team shot worse than 50, or excuse me, a couple guys actually ended up shooting below 50%. Lamar Stevens shot 1 for 3 and Tatum shot 7 for 15. But among the regular rotation guys, 7 for 15 was the worst tonight, which is ridiculous. Like this was
a good night.
This was perhaps their best domination game of the season. I like, you can say like, oh, the Minnesota was a better win, but like in terms of just flattening a team, probably up there considering it was the close to fully healthy Heat. Like that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, I mean, also, like you said, the fact that nobody really had to overwork and overshoot tonight, it's always a good thing. Like literally 3 guys took more than 10 shots. Pretty crazy. Tatum taking 15 shots is unreal. Like never happened. Still had 26 points. Did an excellent job of getting himself to the line. 9 of 10. It was him, Derek White, and Jalen. Everybody else took less than 10, including Porzingis, who played really well before he hurt himself. Drew Holiday, crazy efficient day at 7 of 8, huh? And then a lot of widespread ball just coming from the bench. Like they had, what is that? 7 guys in double figures today. That's crazy.
1,
I mean,
2,
listen,
3,
they
4.
scored 143 points, so
Yeah,
you got to get there somewhere. But
my dad's parlay missed by 2 buckets. He
Derek
needed
White and Porzingis.
No, D. White hit 15. He needed
He had
JB and
20s.
Porzingis. No, he had Derek White at 15. He needed JB and Porzingis at 20 a pop, and they had 18 and 19, which is tough because Porzingis got hurt and JB got subbed out.
That how much does he bet on that?
He had a bonus bet thing, so we put 10 to win 220, and he was 2 buckets away.
He must have been devastated when
He was
Porzingis
not
went
happy.
down, dude. He must have like just collapsed.
He was not happy. Yeah, it was a great night. I mean, Porzingis, like you said, he took 9 shots, but he was absolutely killing the Heat. They had no answer for him. I tweeted it out.
Yeah.
The Heat zone murdered them in the playoffs last year, and Brad Stevens said, you know what? Let me just fucking get a 7-3 guy to ruin your plans. And the Heat couldn't do anything. They couldn't guard the Celtics tonight. Every time Tatum touched the ball, they tried to get cute and put Highsmith or Hero on him. Tatum said, no, I'm just going to drive into your chest and get a foul call. Tatum shot 7 of 15, but he shot 9 of 10 from the free throw line. Jaylen Brown was on fire from everywhere. He was getting to his spots, making plays, a couple weird turnovers early in the game, but 7-11, 4 of 8. Kristaps Porzingis was just like, I'm 7'3". You can't touch me. Sorry, you lose. Like that was pretty much it from him. Drew Holiday, like you said, efficient night. He was getting to his spots, and then Derek White did Derek White things. Had 2 blocks as well. They had no answers anywhere. Like they just decided, like nothing they did. They went to the zone finally, like I think in the second quarter at some point, and the Celtics were like, okay, good luck. We don't want to break it now. We've learned over the past year.
It
Finally,
only took them too fucking long.
Hey, they got it though.
Cost
clearly.
themselves probably like at least 1 championship in the course of learning to figure out how to break a zone.
But they got it done in this one. And yeah, great game all around. Horford too, quietly 8, 7, and 6. He's churning those. I want to say Draymond Green, like prime Draymond numbers off the bench for Horford this season. It feels like he's putting up a lot of those like 5, 5, and 5, or like 8, 7, 7, and 7. You know, like those types of games.
Good, like over total bet guy.
Yeah.
Horford. Yeah.
Points, rebounds, assists, probably around
So,
20 every game.
The thing about the zone is I'm thrilled that Porzingis is out there to break it. He looked so comfortable. He made a great pass to Al Horford instantly off a catch when he was a short roll. Hit Al in the corner. He made the 3. There's no reason Tatum cannot do what Porzingis does in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like there has been so many opportunities in the past where Tatum could have just been the nail guy. And I get it. You don't want to limit him in what he's able to do on offense. But at the same time, he's just as skilled as Porzingis. He's a little bit shorter, of course, but he's so talented and he can make those quick decisions and he can knock down the shots from that range to where the Celtics should be able to use him just fine in that situation anyway. So essentially, you have two guys that can really break down a zone, which is even better. Porzingis catching at the free throw line and shooting is almost always money. It puts tremendous amounts of pressure on the guys underneath the basket, whether it's the actual middleman or the two guys that are pinned to the corners. They have to come and maybe help. You can take advantage of it. There's no real answer for him, like you said. He continuously made good reads tonight. And he was one of the more impactful players, if not the most impactful guy on the floor when he was out there. He was red hot to start this game. It sucks that he hurt himself, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that if you really want to, but rolled his ankle, stepped on Bam's foot, comes back out, laughing, joking with the boys, shadow boxing with Jalen. No ice on the ankle, which I think you pointed out. Gary Washburn pointed out. Somebody pointed out.
They said it on the broadcast. No ice or tape on the ankle. He was just chilling there, which is.
I'll tell you what is Reggie Miller took on the scowl roll today pretty well. He was like, "Well, that guy's dead." As soon as he gets on the plane, his ankle's going to be.
I will say, it did look like of all the times to do it, that was probably it. Porzingis rolling an ankle, looking as upset as he did. You're like, "Oh, wait! That's the last guy you want to see." But to talk about it too, because that'll probably be the title of this. He looked fine, right? Like he got back out there, like you mentioned, he was shadow boxing. He was chilling on the bench. He didn't stay in the back. Even like right after it happened, he looked mad, but like he didn't look in pain. He just looked like upset that he hurt himself, which is a good thing. Weirdly enough, I was never really like worried. Like what's the worst case scenario here? He misses 2 games, like, or sorry, two weeks. Like, well, it was clearly not a break though. Like he clearly didn't break the ankle.
Well, when you first see it, there's no clearly. It's he was hurt and didn't come up the floor, and they had to play a whole possession 4-on-5, and then there was a timeout taken. There was no clearly off the rip.
As soon as you saw the replay, though, you knew it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like the worst case after you saw the replay was like, okay, maybe he misses 2 weeks, like 6 games, and takes him into the All-Star break, chilling. Realistically, I don't know. He looks fine. From my perspective, at least, I think he'll be all right.
Be serious.
No, I don't think he'll play Saturday. I think he'll probably miss 2 to 3 games, probably max, and then he'll be back chilling. But editing Jack here. This wasn't out when we recorded the video, so we did not know. However, Porzingis after the game did provide an injury update himself. He said it's not too bad, said he hopes to be back in the next couple days, and just said at the time it felt worse than it was. We'll play the clip of him providing the injury update after the game here, but yeah, just wanted to throw this in here because we didn't know this when we recorded this because we recorded right after the game. So here's Porzingis on his injury.
I just went to contest Bam's shot, and as I came down, just landed on his foot and just rolled my ankle. Not too bad. Just in the moment, it got me pretty good in the moment, but feeling pretty good now.
You got some treatment. Was there a chance you could have come in? You're listed as doubtful, but I mean.
Yeah. I think depending on the game a little bit, sprained ankle is no big deal in general. So if the situation needed, I would have been able to play for sure. Just was, at that point of the game, was smart to sit out.
We saw you standing up, moving around, smiling. How is it feeling now?
Yeah, it's feeling all right. I think it's going to swell up a little bit, but we'll see how it is tomorrow and go from there.
So you expect it to probably be a day-to-day type situation, not a...
I hope so. I think tomorrow will be clearer, how it is doing, especially after the flight too and all that. But as of right now, feeling pretty good and staying positive.
So yeah, sounds like everything should be okay. Hoping to ease the minds of Celtics Nation a little bit. Back to the rest of the pod. We'll see. On top of that, they didn't even rule him out for the game. He was doubtful, which is crazy. Yeah. So I think that's another indicator that he's fine.
Who else has kind of picked up an injury mid-game?
This season for the Celtics?
He definitely has.
Yeah.
And he was out in Orlando when he hurt himself.
Yeah. Was it the Warriors game?
No, it was Orlando.
Yeah, when he hurt himself in the game. Yeah.
He got poked in Indiana. Maybe it is just Porzingis that got hurt and had to leave mid-game. I don't know.
Did JB get hurt?
Yeah, he did. Crazy. He did something. He banged knees with somebody.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Anyways. Porzingis looked fine to me. I'm not worried about him. I think he'll be all right.
Cornette, talk about him.
Cornette came in the game in that second half and was just like, all right, it's Cornette time. Kevin Harlan was like, you can't stop him. You can only hope to what. Like, Cornette's getting that treatment.
Why did he say you know what?
I don't know. I thought that was weird
right?
too. Yes. I don't know why. But
if someone can explain that to us, it's right over our head, put it in the comments.
If you're getting you can't stop him quote about Luke Cornette, disband the franchise. Like, get rid of the court, one.
Should the Heat
get rid of the
up?
jerseys, two. Like, you can't get blown out like that on that court with those jerseys. That's embarrassing. By Luke Cornette?
Court took a victory tonight, claimed a casualty.
Yeah. I will say, I'm going to say it once, and I'm not going to say it again because I know you don't like this. Yet another blowout, second out of a back-to-back. I'm done. But
cry louder. I mean, they played back-to-backs every season.
I know they do. I mean, what else is there to say about this game, though? Great game. Terry Rozier looked bad again. If you want to talk about that.
I think Cornette was really great. I know we kind of did touch on it, but
no, he was really
bunch
good.
Of alley-oops. He was a huge spark after Porzingis went out. Because I mean, watching the game, you're like, damn, that really sucks. And then Cornette's throwing down alley-oops. It's like
that one he caught from Pritchard was fire. That was a crazy
Pritchard
pass.
Also good today. 4 of 7. Yeah. I don't remember how many points he finished with, but he was creating shots for himself. He did a good job of getting to the baseline, the mid-range.
11-3.
I like seeing him with a little bit of freedom with the ball. I think it's really good.
Yeah, he played great. Every single member of the Celtics starting lineup hit 3 threes, and Jalen hit 4, which is cool. They were all on fire. Ball moved well. 6 assists for D. White, 6 for Horford, 5 for Drew and Jalen, 4 for Tatum. Everyone was moving it. It was just a case of either they're getting a mismatch that they're attacking and they're getting whatever they want, or they're getting out in transition and getting an open shot before the Heat can react. And the Heat were slow and they couldn't react. I will say, this does not quell the potential postseason worries of facing Miami. This is a different team than you'll see in the playoffs. It always is. Yeah. They're never going to be the same, which is fine.
The NFL season is wrapping up, and there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Now, the app is so easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays, find bets in the new Explore tab, make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
But I do think, at the very least, you saw little things that could indicate they would fare better in terms of progress, like the zone killer that you saw them, although it wasn't perfect, you saw them lock in on defense for stretches where they got multiple stops in a row. Like you saw things that you didn't necessarily see in years past of okay, they've sort of figured a few things out about this Heat team. Like, I wonder if the reason Spoelstra took so long to go to the zone defense was because he's like, maybe I don't want to show it to them and get them used to using it with Porzingis. Like, maybe let's hold off. And then he realized, wait a second, we got to try something else because we're getting cooked in man. The Heat are a great defensive team, correct? Like, they're a good defensive team. I don't know exactly where they're ranked.
I'll pull it up. You just keep talking. I'll look.
I've got it. They're at least top 10. They are currently the 11th best defensive team. I don't know if this counts tonight though, so that might hurt them a little bit because they got 143 dropped on their head. But the 11th best defensive team. They're a fine defensive team. They got good defensive pieces. They don't have enough defensive pieces to guard the Celtics. If they're going to start Hero and Rozier, they're fucked. You can't guard the Celtics with those two on the court. And I think you're going to see that a lot. I know exactly. Like, there is
Milwaukee,
no way
can't guard with Dame. Philly,
Dame's
Maxey,
on the court.
Go at him.
Maxey's on the court. You're cooked. And you saw that tonight. Like, Haywood Highsmith is a good defender. Cooked. He was chicken. Like Tatum was just like, get this fucking guy off me. Because he guarded him last playoffs with some success. You got it. Like, Tatum was definitely like, all right, I need to prove that this guy can't fucking step with me. Right into his chest. Goodbye. See you later. Rozier, right around him. See you later. Hero, move over. See, who's
my favorite Heat defensive scheme of the day was Tatum being posted up near the Celtics bench, and then he does his spin on Josh Richardson and kind of gets a drive, and then Tyler Hero is the help defender underneath the rim. Like, Tatum didn't end up going all the way in. I believe he just took like a fade. But did we really think Tyler Hero's stopping him at the rim?
It's the answer, man. He's got it. He's ready. He's got
I
it
can't
on lock.
stand that guy. Loser.
And like the Heat didn't even shoot poorly. Like they had a pretty normally efficient game. 25 assists. They only turned the ball over 4 times. They just could not get a stop to save their life. They just could not stop the Celtics. And obviously it's not always going to be like that. So you'd rather the Celtics. If you want to like nitpick a little bit, like I mentioned, there were a few stretches where like probably needed more defensive pressure. You probably got to stop it. But like at that point, it's a floodgate. Like you're scoring every possession. You're like, all right, let's just go get the bucket back because these guys can't fucking stop us. And I don't necessarily think that will win you every game in the playoffs. I think they can win a couple games like this just because they are like that talented. But you have seen a few moments over the past few games of these defensive lapses where the other team just gets a few buckets in a row. That said, I do want to credit the Celtics because end of the second quarter, end of the first half. I was about to say second half. They did like string together a few stops. They're like, all right, let's lock back in. And they went on a little run of their own after the Heat went on theirs. Like, so I do think they are starting to sort of figure things out a bit better in terms of stopping these runs, but you just got to prevent because they're going to happen inevitably. They just got to be better at stopping the bleeding like quicker because teams are good. It's the NBA, but that's the only real nitpick from this. Like, I mean, fuck, it was a 33-point win. Like, what do you want? Like, that was nuts.
One thing I'll say about the Celtics scoring today, kind of like a bookend way to do the show. I truly believe that the Celtics can score like this in terms of the way the scoring was spread out every game. I know it's tough to ask them to shoot 64 in 55 splits, but I think the team is so talented that you truly can afford to max Tatum at 15 shots. I'm not saying you should or restrict him on purpose, but the way they just played to whatever Miami was giving them and punished them for it today was chef's kiss perfect. This is the kind of basketball you should play with a team like this. How many times during this game, Jack, did you throw your head back like, oh, wow, that was an awful possession? Maybe one time.
Once or twice, not many.
There was one Jalen shot I remember on Jimmy where he like caught the ball, let Jimmy close out, faked, and then took it once he was in his face.
There was a Drew shot too. I think it literally might have been his first shot of the game, and then he didn't miss before that. Like he just took this whack step back 3 in somebody's face, and then he didn't miss. I will also say it was 15 Tatum shots, but it was like realistically, it was like
no, he had more attempts because of the fouls.
No, I was gonna, and also like it was just kind of like through 3 quarters. I know he played a little in the fourth, but like he wasn't really doing anything in the fourth. So I do think that context is important too. I will say though, in terms of offensive process, this is exactly how they need to play regardless. And not only that, I think you take this and you have to play like this in clutch time too, right? You can't fall into the trap of the game is slowing down. Let's slow it down as well. Let's do this. Play like this, no matter the situation, no matter what it is. This is the most dominant offense in the league. I don't care about the Pacers. I don't care about the Nuggets. I don't care about anything else. When the Celtics play this basketball, this is the most dominant offense in the league, and you can't change that just because of the situation of the game. You have to let your game, you have to let your best style of offense dictate the game and not vice versa.
I mean, I know we kind of chatted briefly about this today, but that's why I hate the 2-for-1. Not because, I mean, Scala annoys the hell out of you, yeah, but like if you watch those plays, regardless if the ball's going in or not, the way that they're running their offense is different. Everything's rushed. They're not really working to get the best shot. Sure, the math works out a fair amount of the time, but it's still whack. Like, I went through, I think, the first 15 games so far today. I'm going to go through all of them and see. And they get a good amount of 2-for-1s where they will outscore the opponent. They don't get outscored very often, but there are plenty of times that it's just like 0-0. And that's kind of like my takeaway is, yes, you can get a tie and you can get the extra shot. But the defense has been so consistent in those moments.
Yeah.
Just score normal. You'll be fine. Goes to crunch time too.
You know my thoughts. I'm all about the math. I was more talking about the crunch time, and I think that's the more
It's the
important
same thing.
here.
It's quarter crunch time.
It's
It's
not
the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing because you don't want it to be.
It's not the same thing. The end of the first quarter is different from the end of the fourth quarter, and it's not the same thing.
There are situations they have gone for 2 for 1 in the fourth quarter in a close game.
And I think that's a valid thing too, but you just have to work to make sure the 2 for 1 is a good shot. And I don't think you're mad at the 2 for 1. I think you're mad at how they approach the 2 for 1.
That's what I'm saying. Your point with the crunch time was they can't change their approach because of the situation. I just applied it to a different situation.
Sure, but I think they can use that approach and still go for the 2 for 1. I think the 2 for 1 as a concept is a good thing and it's a necessary thing.
Why are you arguing with me? I'm agreeing with you.
You're the one who started yelling.
Because you started pushing back for no reason. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying they should not change their offense because of whatever time of the game it is.
I know, and what I'm saying is I think they should still do the 2 for 1, but just change the way they go for the shots in the 2 for 1.
That's what I'm saying. That's what that was my whole they break even, but if they didn't rush everything, they could get better shots.
I thought what you said, and chat can the comments can let me know if I'm wrong. What I heard from you is their defense is so good that they shouldn't bother with the 2 for 1. They should just get a good shot and then play defense.
Their defense is so good that they don't have to rush things, but they could afford to get better shots because of the defense.
Sure. Okay, fine. I got you. What I heard from you is the defense is so good they should abandon the 2 for 1, just get a shot and then play defense. That's what I heard. But I understand now.
It has by far been the most consistent thing on that spreadsheet that I made. It's like, did they get a stop? It's like, yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah, then that's fine. Then I agree with the fact that they should approach the 2 for 1 differently. Absolutely, 100%. Because the 2 for 1 right now, like you're saying, is just isolations. And I do think, like I said, this approach should be used at the end of games.
In isolations, end of game heavy.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think it's natural that it's that way because you throughout the course of NBA history, it's always been, best player gets the ball. But with the team like this, you shouldn't be doing that. And it's a tough habit to break, but it's one they need to work on and be better at, especially come postseason. Like you said, you're not going to shoot 64-55 every night. But I do think I do think the offensive process of this game is something to learn from and apply to future games. Anyways, I think that about covers it. I don't think is there anything else we missed. Tatum's an all-star starter. Cool. Reggie Miller has Derek White as an all-star. If you're watching the broadcast, that's also cool. He also didn't have any Kings in the all-star game, which was like, what the fuck? What are we doing? But anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Let us know what you thought of the game down below in the comments. Make sure to check out our episode of Talk and See with Bobby Koritsky that came out yesterday, and the pod that came out yesterday. It was a good one. We'll keep saying it. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to How About Them Celtics on YouTube. 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. Follow us, all that good stuff. I'll let Sam take it out.
Hey, thank you very much for listening and watching today. If you're watching, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any game recaps like these or the full pods or Talk and Sees with Bobby Koritsky or film breakdowns or rumor breakdowns or the half-hour pregame streams. Those are always a good time, so come hang out for those. If you're on streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple, if you follow us, you'll get the audio versions of the pods and game recaps right to your feed every day when they drop. You can also reach out to us via email. hbtcpod@gmail.com is the way to get in touch with us. We're reading your emails each podcast, giving you feedback on your thoughts, and we like to hear from you. You can also find us on socials at How About Them C's. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook is just the name of the podcast. You can follow us there. For the pregame streams, those are on YouTube again. And also on Twitter. Jack's Twitter is at JacksMonNBA. Mine is at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.